Carbondale. How are y'all doing today? This is Eva Fisher, your host for Talk of the Town, and you are tuned in to WDBX 91.1 Community Radio for Southern Illinois and the world. Yes, love it. I love it in here. I am so happy I get to, really kick off my Monday here in the studio. I love it. Love me some local radio. And yeah, I don't know if you tuned in to any of those other shows we were talking about on those underwriters. I love the Lollipop Shop. It's so fun. And there's just lots of cool stuff going on. So keep your radio tuned to this station, all right? And donate when you can, WDBX is run by the community for the community. So if you listen, you get a kick out of it. You got some dollars you can throw this way. They're about to do a really big remodel here in the studio. You can get a glimpse inside the studio on our City of Carbondale government YouTube page. I post all of the shows that I record in here to our YouTube page as well. So if you want to get a glimpse inside, soon we're going to be hopping across the hall into the secondary studio while they do a nice remodel in this space. So get some fresh floors, fresh paint, fresh microphones. It's gonna be legit, man. I'm super excited. I just wanted to give a shout out and congrats to some successful events over the weekend. The Carbondale Coldest Night of the Year fundraising event happened this Saturday. This is the largest annual fundraiser for the Carbondale Warming Center, and it was held at the high school. We had to, shift a little bit. There was still a bunch of ice and snow on the sidewalk, so instead of doing a full 2K to 5K route, we just did some laps around the high school and around the parking lot. And it turned out great. We had an awesome turnout, and I'm just checking the stats now. It looks like $54,195 was raised over the past few months of fundraising and this weekend's event. And that's out of the goal of $100,000. They set the goal really high this year. Yes, last year the goal was 60 grand, and we hit about the same percentage mark last year as we are at now. So the fundraiser for this specific event will be open through March 16th. So if you go to cnoy.com, you can donate direct to the Carbondale Warming Center. Easiest way is to hit location, and you'll see Carbondale, Illinois, right there at the very tip top, which is very convenient. Out of all the cities listed from this nation and Canada, we got Carbondale right at the top there. How exciting. So yeah, so you can go and donate directly there. Put it on your calendar for next year. Really fun event. Lots of community members getting together. We share a meal after the walk. There was some awesome live music at the front end of it. And really great. SIH was a huge sponsor and helped with this event. As well as many others. So really just thank you to everyone who came out and contributed to that really, really great event. And another big event that occurred this weekend was the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce Boots and Blings Community Awards ceremony. So awesome event the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce puts on, also as a fundraiser, honoring the work that our community members are up to. So different businesses, young business leader awards, etc. So really great stuff. So yeah, congrats on those successful events. We just love seeing our Carbondale coming together in these multitudes of ways and sharing that support and uplifting each other. So hi, come on in. All right, people, I'm just listing off my announcements as always, getting our guests settled in here today. Hi, Zenetta, sit on down. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm just letting some folks know about some upcoming events. We are in the final week of Black History Month here. Yeah, and there's some great things going on. The Carbondale Public Library has a cool event going on Thursday evening from 5:30 to 7 p.m. It's called the Dream, Build, Create event. So they're gonna have some cool hands-on stations for the kiddos with Legos and magnet tiles and things like that, while you learn about inspiring Black innovators throughout history. So really awesome event, getting the kids engaged and activated with a hands-on thing and an educational component as well, as the library always does. They're really good at educating folks, aren't they? And another great Black History event, also on Thursday. Thursday is a popular day this week, is the Black History Scholar Bowl. This is held at the SIU Student Center, also on Thursday, the 27th. Doors open at 5:30. This is a free event, as well as the event at the library. Put on by the SIU Black Resource Center and the Carbondale NAACP. So really awesome. It's going to be, a Scholar Bowl. There's going to be teams competing, kind of trivia style, if you will, on Black history of SIU and Southern Illinois. So check that out. That sounds like a really neat event. And then our Carbondale at the Table dinner and dialogue event has been rescheduled to this Thursday. It was scheduled for last week, had to shift because of the winter storm. So now it's this Thursday, and it's actually going to be a lunch instead of a dinner, a lunch and dialogue. So this event will be from 12 to 1:30 is when the meal and conversation will begin. Doors open at 11:30. And we have information on our City of Carbondale government Facebook page to register for this event. But really great, partnering up with Healing Illinois and Carbondale NAACP, this specific dinner and dialogue event, lunch and dialogue, if you will. This is our Black History Month contribution, and so we'll be focusing on Black health in the community as well as some Black history there. So please sign up for that. These events are always super fruitful. All right, and with that, I'll introduce you to my guest this morning. Hi, Zenetta, how are you today?
Good morning.
Awesome. Zenetta, can I have you pull into that microphone just a smidge for me so everyone can hear you talk about the amazing African American Museum of Southern Illinois?
Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Certainly appreciate that.
Zenetta, do you mind telling everyone what it is that you do with the museum?
Well, I wear a number of hats simply because my parents, Milton and Corbin McDaniel, are the founders of the African American Museum.
Oh, fantastic.
So I get in where I fit in,
yes.
As a matter of fact, but technically I serve as the vice president of the African American Museum.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. How long have you been serving in that role?
I've been in the role for 3 years.
Okay,
yes,
fantastic.
For 3 years. Mm-hmm.
So, tell our listeners a little bit about the African American Museum of Southern Illinois. It's located at the University Mall.
It is located in the University Mall. We have been there since 1997.
Awesome.
In the mall, a lot of people are surprised. They walk by like, did not know that there was a museum here.
Right.
We've been here for over 25 years.
Yeah.
However, there have been different locations. Our current location, for those that may remember where the Hallmark store was once upon a time, that is where we currently are, across the hall from where Bath and Body Works used to be.
Okay.
So that's our current location.
Awesome.
Our hours we're closed on Sundays and Mondays, Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m.
Okay, fantastic. And I wanted to, bring you in to highlight this during Black History Month, but this is not a museum that just runs exhibits during Black History Month. This is a year-long, all the time.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is open and sharing this culture, this information.
Yes, and that is where we really want to highlight all the time is that Black history is every day for us. It is not just one particular month out of the year, and we try to celebrate the accomplishments and the successes of our culture.
Yeah.
Yes, and particularly we like to highlight local individuals, and that's really how it started. When my mother was once president of the NAACP and their Freedom Fund banquet, discovered how much some of our local residents had done, and it was information that a number of people didn't know. They were just very humble about their successes and accomplishments and trailblazing.
Yeah.
And she thought that it would be a wonderful idea to be able to highlight those local individuals as well, and that's kind of how the idea of having a museum came about.
I love it. Fantastic. I know that I wanted to hear you speak on a big project that y'all did last year, the
Mhm.
Uproot project.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, can you tell people about that? Because I remember coming to see the artwork displayed after that, and it was just really striking.
So the Uproot project, we received a Healing Illinois grant to be able to bring together a number of individuals in our community. It turned out to be about 25 individuals in our community that committed to some workshops and some learning and some understanding about our roots and our ancestors and how we got here. And so the project was to ideally learn about the culture, particularly in South Carolina, the Gullah Geechee culture, and take a trip to Sullivan's Island. For a number of individuals that do not know, approximately 90% of current African Americans in the United States have ancestors that were brought here, if I might say, that were kidnapped and brought here.
Yeah.
They entered through Sullivan's Island in South Carolina.
Okay.
So our journey was part of the healing process was to go back to where our people actually set foot on in this country.
Yeah.
And so it was an amazing experience. And like I said, there were a number of workshops and individuals who contributed to genealogy search, being able to also participate in healing circles that they had perhaps never experienced before. And so we took a trip to Charleston, South Carolina. Sullivan's Island is part of the Charleston area. In addition to that, we were able to visit the International African American Museum that had just opened up the prior June. So it's a brand new museum.
Cool.
With a lot of detailed history about the passage. And it was a quite rewarding experience. But one of the commitments that we asked for those individuals that were selected to go on the trip was to come back and be able to share what they learned from the experience, because it was a 12-week commitment from these individuals.
Wow.
To share their experience through some form of art. And that was the closing reception that you were able to attend, was their experience, what they learned, how they grew, their healing process, their healing journey was expressed through art. Yeah.
There was so many powerful pieces.
Absolutely.
To come out of that.
Yes.
And you could tell that journey was, you could see the challenge and the reward from that trip. Because, that's some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that there's still a couple pieces on hand at the museum that you have on display from that project. Yeah.
Yes, and we almost everyone donated their art to the museum. So we have that exhibit. There are still a couple of pieces that are still up. But most everyone gave those pieces to the museum so that we can travel with them, use them again. And what I did not say is that Uproot stands for Uniting People While Reckoning with Original Trauma.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, just such a multi-layered project.
Yes.
Yeah, and just very cool that y'all got to share that experience and all those layers and that depth.
Yes.
With us here in Carbondale at the museum. And Zenetta, I think it's cool from my understanding, and if this is still accurate, this is the only specific African American history museum between from Chicago to Memphis. We've got
there are more now. When we were originally established, like for example, there's one in Mounds area, Carroll area.
Great.
Yeah. So there's one in Decatur. So there are more now. But when we were first established in '97, we were the first between Chicagoland and Chattanooga.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, and kind of trailblazers. I love that set the tone for these other smaller and rural communities to be able to build something similar and highlight these stories and experiences.
Yes.
And now I know you said normally you highlight local artists. I had stopped in a few weeks ago and chatted with Kalila, who also works there at the museum.
Yes.
And she was mentioning some about the current exhibit. Could you tell us a little bit about what's up now?
So the current exhibit that is that we currently have up is a local artist.
Okay, great.
His name is Tori Powell, and he's tremendously gifted. And his work is on display now.
Great.
His parents have been involved with helping us with the exhibit, as well as he has been. And as a matter of fact, there were a few pieces that he wanted to add to the exhibit, and his parents were kind enough to, because he's currently in Chicago, they were nice enough to be able to meet him halfway to get some more of his work to bring to the museum. And so I have been contacted by a couple of his school teachers in District 95. They were like, he was my student. I can't wait to get out there, and see his work. And so we invite everyone to come out to see his exhibit. We actually have a reception that is scheduled on this coming Saturday, which is March 1st.
Awesome.
And it's going to be from 1 to 4.
Cool.
And he's going to be present. If there's individuals that know him or his family or would like to come out and see his work and engage in conversation with him.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we're excited about that.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I know, I can't wait to get over there and see it. Whenever I was there, it was like everything else was, it was kind of blank walls, ready for the art. I love that. I love that. If you're just tuning in, I'm chatting with Zenetta Coleman, Vice President of the African American Museum of Southern Illinois, located at the University Mall. Zenetta, would you mind repeating the hours of operation?
Our hours of operation are Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. We are closed on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, people, this museum is open all year round. So we really encourage folks to get out and experience this. It's really a unique offering that we have here, and I love what a art supportive community that we have here in Southern Illinois. And it's cool. We got a few museum options. We got Art Space 304,
absolutely,
which has an awesome exhibit there right now. Highlighting Black artists and experiences.
And that is part of a collaboration. We're all working together with that, and that's the wonderful thing about the art community here, is that we are able to collaborate with other organizations, and everyone is so willing and giving to be able to do that. That
is so cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that collaboration?
Well, it's we're friends of one another, and so Art Space actually approached us about the idea of having a number of highlighting a number of local Black artists to be able to share their work, and just asked so that we could expand that option, is using their space and our space, and just kind of coming together and making sure that people get out, particularly during Black History Month, and just be able to celebrate together. So so Tori's exhibit is actually part of that as well.
Fantastic. That is so wonderful. I love connecting all those dots and seeing the work that people are doing together. What does it mean to you, working for a museum that is able to highlight African American history and Black artists in the community? What would you say that art does for a community?
If I could choose one word, I would say therapeutic. I think that art is expressive. I think that art is healing. I think that so often we focus on all of the things that we feel are different about us, but I think that art is a special medium that will bring people together. It gives perspective. It gives different perspectives. And what I have appreciated is that when we have visitors come into the museum, one person can come in and see a piece of art in a certain type of way, but the person right behind them will get a totally different message from it.
Absolutely.
And I think that is something that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a, I was thinking too, and with art, with tangible art, when you're talking about paintings and sculpture, I'm a theater artist and a musician, and that does so much for people too, but it's ethereal, right? It comes and goes. Art, you have something to hold on to, and it might feel different even for the same person every time you look at it. You look at it one week, come in the next month, and you have a different reaction. So it's a living, breathing creature evolving, just like the rest of us.
Absolutely.
I love it. Zenetta, you've spent some years now working at the museum, so you've had these varied experiences there. I'd love to just kind of hear about maybe an exhibit or an experience or something there that really impacted you, that stuck with you.
Well, I do have to say that the Uproot project was something very amazing and life-changing.
Yeah.
Emotional, and meeting people in the community that I had never met before. I may have heard of them and maybe not.
Yeah.
But to see the interest that we had of the individuals to come together and to be able to travel and just learn about all of these other wonderful things that are happening and the gifts that we have. I mean, I love Southern Illinois. There's just something really very special about Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
So working alongside my parents and seeing their vision has been something that is very special to me as well. And we talk about Healing Illinois. We did receive a grant, I guess it was 2 years ago, where it was, our project was a tale of two cities.
Okay.
And it was the experience, a reflection of what it was like to grow up in Carbondale.
Okay.
And there be two different cities, in air quotes, divided by the tracks.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from that exhibit, that as a child, there were a lot of things that were happening that I was unaware of.
Sure.
And didn't quite pay attention to. So that was very informative for me and helped cultivate my personal experience. Yeah, so it's been wonderful. And if I might mention, we've talked about Healing Illinois. We actually did receive a grant for 2025 as well.
Awesome.
And we are just beginning to work on it.
Okay.
But it is highlighting the Black settlements in Southern Illinois.
Awesome.
And there are many people that know about the Black settlements, but there are so many that do not. And particularly our younger community, where there were communities in Southern Illinois that were all Black communities that had their own banks, their own stores, their own post office, etc., that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And so we are launching a journey to highlight, identify, and share the Black settlements in our community, as well as the families and the descendants of those from the Black settlements.
Wow.
And doing a oral and visual history as well. And so we'll be sharing more information about that and inviting members of the community who have begun to do their own research and their family research and their history and their roots in Southern Illinois, and asking them to share their story with us so that we can record it and document it and keep it safe so that we can share it with generations beyond us.
Awesome. Wow, that sounds amazing. I am very much looking forward to that exhibit. I have been meaning to get a copy of that book and start digging into it.
Yes.
It was published a while back on the Black settlements here in Carbondale.
Yes.
So cool. That's going to be really impactful, seeing that information collected and shared in multiple mediums for people.
And that was
to take
written by Kimberly France, and we actually have a copy at the museum if you want to stop by and
amazing. Yeah, fantastic.
pick it up. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Zenetta, we just have a couple of minutes left here. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the work that y'all do at the museum. Do you have any last tidbit you want to throw out there?
Come and see us.
Yeah.
Come by and see us. And if anyone has any ideas, or if there are any other organizations that would like to collaborate on projects, we are happy to do that. We're more than willing to do that.
Absolutely.
We have begun also plans for the Juneteenth celebration that we do each year.
Cool.
And so we are just, we really want to emphasize community, that it is not just our museum. This museum belongs to our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there is something for everyone there.
Yes.
We all benefit from these stories
absolutely.
and these experiences.
Yes.
So yeah, really encourage you this last week of Black History Month. Make it a point to check out the African American Museum of Southern Illinois, and then put it in your your roster of monthly, seasonal events, and check out the new things that they got going on there. All right, well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to Talk of the Town. We'll catch you next week.